Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, AmusedJester. My name is Junior, and today we're going to go ahead and continue reviewing the Mattel's Premier DC Kids line concentrated figures. These are 6.5 inches. I have Green Lantern, John Stewart, and Superman. Finally, I got these. I switched out to Mattel Creations because Big Bad Toy Store was just taking way too long to deliver it for me. And actually ended up being $1 cheaper. Yes, I do have to pay for, I believe, $8 shipping, but with Big Bad Toy Store, even with Pile of Loot, it's also $6. So technically, it kind of evened out. But I had a lot more in the order that I had. So, like I said, Big Bad was just taking way too long for me. But as you can see from the packaging with Mattel, again, they sort of pose the figures. So it's not just static A stands, so you can kind of enjoy them if you want to, and peg these and stuff like that. So it is kind of irregularly shaped, so it takes a lot more space, as you can see, than just a regular box. I don't know what they did that. I guess they're trying to make it more dynamic. You can see the figure over here. It's some accessories rack back here. Same thing with Superman. You can kind of see it back there. John Stewart. Here's the back, and here's the front. Interestingly enough, the difference between the two, and I just want to point this out, is again they're still having the super villains on the blurb over here. You can see though in Superman's it's much thinner or smaller fonts, but look, there's a lot more stuff over here that I don't understand. They're both from Wave 2, so I don't know why there's two different types of packaging. But anyway, who cares? I don't know if this is some sort of variant packaging, but for people who are interested in that, let me go ahead and take it out of packaging, and we'll take a look at the figures themselves. All right, we're back, and as you can see, there's a lot of accessories with these two figures. Now, let me talk really quickly about the value of these accessories, which is these figures are $12.99 with the accessories, and I think the price for what these figures bring out, it's very, very good already. It has a high value. These accessories, they're a nice additions to the figure. It doesn't really do anything to the figure, because it does on Lantern, because you know he works off of green constructs and everything. But with Batman figures, sometimes it doesn't. With Superman figures like this armor, that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, the accessories, they're nice play features, they're nice additions, but they don't really add much value to the figure, because they're just kind of random accessories. And on top of that, the way they're made, as you can see, it doesn't make here on Superman one, there's no paint. It's just paint. It's just basically plastic itself. There's nothing to increase the value of what this looks like, and it doesn't add anything to the figure. Therefore, the value of these accessories aren't really that much. It doesn't really add much to the value of the price compared to the figure. But because the price of the figure themselves are so cheap and so fair, that I consider these accessories as bonuses. So even though they don't add value, even though they're only a little bit of value to me, I consider them as bonuses when it comes to the price of $12.99 per figure. Okay, and I just consider them as free bonuses. Now, when it came to the review that I had for the Killer Croc versus Batman, wherein it was a 2-pack and it was selling for $32.99, that's when I start to add in these accessories as part of that price. And in that situation, it doesn't really help much, because they are really of little value. It doesn't really add anything to the figure. So when I was doing the comparison price of $32.99 for a 2-pack of Killer Croc and Batman being a reuse of a figure, mostly 80%, then that $32.99 price tag doesn't really make sense. Now, I'm just saying that now, because I just, you know, it's only been a few days since I reviewed that 2-pack, and you know, and it's just weird that I'm thinking of it this way, because that's just the way I review and value what I'm getting for my money. $12.99 for this figure is awesome, and then all these additional accessories, you know. So, but it does not make or break the price and the figures, what I would say. And sometimes I wonder if it's just better to just go ahead and sometimes get rid of the accessories on those 2-packs if it's gonna bring the price cheaper. I didn't realize it actually. Look at that. Put this one too, I think, goes together. Huh. Very interesting. I don't know if it's should have been put together in the first place, or there's a function wherein the halves work on something. I don't know. Anyway, here's Green Lantern, I suppose. Oh, just peg it in on the back first here on the hole of Luke Stewart, and then attach this thing to the back, to the chest. Yeah, there you go. So the back plugs into the back of Stewart, and then the front plugs into the shoulder of that one. This one, I wonder if you can, like Batman, could be a shoulder mount, but I don't see anything. Oh, this is not properly pegged in. I don't see anything that you can mount this onto, which is a shame, because I feel like that would have been kind of like a nice thing to have here. Oh, but it does have, look at this gauntlet. So this gauntlet can go in his hand, like so. Close the hands. So for Green Lantern, it kind of makes sense. See how, you know, it's really good for a Green Lantern to look at. And then you attach this one to here as a hand cannon if you want to. That's pretty cool. You can't really hold it like this now, because it's just basically how you mount it like that. But this grip and this grip seems to be, oh wait, actually, you know what, you also use this one, but this grip can be used in the hands if you choose not to put this on. That's pretty cool. Again, that this adds to, as a Green Lantern, you know, the constructs. Not necessarily with Superman once we look him over. So let me put this out because I want to review the figure by itself. We'll start off by looking at the face for John Stewart. All right, that looks pretty cool. I think you can even see that his eyes are green. Nice kind of smiling expression. Nice paint application of that one. Pearlescent green. This one is just painted, not raised. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm used to that. Here's the ring. The ring is raised. It's on the right finger. And then this body, as you can see, has a different sheen as this one, so that's fine. Normal types of articulation when it comes to the new Mattel. Man, honestly, all this needs is an ab crunch or somehow here, and I would prioritize that first, and then I would add in the ankles, because this is actually pretty good as it is. The ankles, maybe instead of, you know, you can get rid of the rocker or not give us the rocker, but you can still add on an ankle forward and back. It does still have a boot cut, so if you prefer to do that, it has a tie cut and everything. The pelvic to leg joint is very simple, goes in and out, forward and back. It doesn't have a drop down. I'm okay with that. Not needed for this price point. But if this had any kind of like a crunch here, oh man, it's because it's so close to being a lot more dynamic. But I don't mind that it's a single joint on the elbow, because as you can see, that's pretty good reach as it is. Yeah, this is so close to what I want. Like if it had been maybe, like this is $13, but let's say, okay, let's add $1 for an ab crunch, $1 for an ankle. So let's say they offer this at $16.99. I would be so happy with what we have now, and with those two added articulation. Yeah. That's Jon Stewart. Let's take a look at Superman over here. I really do love this face. The weird thing is, with all the McFarlane head sculpts, most of the time they fail on how they do the faces, and I think it's the jaw that they somehow fail in. This is just a generic looking Superman, but look, it's very Superman. Somehow with McFarlane, they always fail at the jaw, where they make the jaw really flared out wide at the bottom, and something about the transition on the neck, like their necks might sometimes feel like it's too short or too low, and makes the head look squashed. And here it's not. It's just perfect the way it is. As you can see, the cape is partially sculpted here in the back, and then it continues here with the fabric. The fabric again is a good quality that I like, and basically the same articulation as Jon Stewart. Nothing is different. And if I could somehow scan this and make some changes on the basic body so I can have the articulation here, and I would actually use Stewart's body type is different in a way that it doesn't have these lines that the Superman has. And let's see, Batman actually uses the same legs, but look, Batman has these shoulder guards, which does not have on Superman, and definitely does not show on Green Lantern. Green Lantern, I think, is my preferred buck body, which is completely clean. Anyway, going back to Superman, I really love the head sculpt. This is just painted on, and this whole shoulder body is just one piece. We have that hole here in the back. But yeah, and then I forgot to mention that the arms are swivel and moves in and out. Really cool. So with Superman, let's see what's going on. I'm assuming it's the same as Jon Stewart's, yep, where you plug it into the back in the hole. Then once you do that, that should give you a plug-in for the chest piece armor. Okay, not quite as secure. I didn't really cleanly cut the pegs. It didn't really matter to me. It looks like this looks like some sort of shoulder armor, which is good because then it makes another point of contact to make sure the armor is secure. Or more secure, I should say, by putting it together. And so these three, looks like Superman can hold this one as if it's like crushed steel in his hands if you want to. Okay. And then this one, what is this one for? Does this, oh, okay, so this one looks like it attaches to this one if you want to. Interesting. You have that break. Superman will break it. Break Superman. No, break it. Superman can't break it. And then this one, I guess, another thing that he can hold on to as a chain. Not like, I don't think Superman will even need any of these two as a weapon or anything like that. So in comparison to Jon Stewart, this doesn't really make sense for Superman. I don't see any reason why Superman would ever wear armor, especially partial armor if you're protecting him from kryptonite. This makes more sense with Jon Stewart. So in fact, with all these accessories, one of the ones that really makes more sense is basically the girder, just to show that he's able to crush steel beams like this, like for nothing. This is actually more of a hindrance for me because I want to see Superman as he is, where it's just red, blue, and yellow. That's the Superman that I know. That's the Superman man that I want to see. Man, I'm looking at this face, and honestly, as I'm looking at it, because of the eyes has some sort of gloss surface to it, it tends to shine a little bit in certain parts. So yeah, I'm really happy with this kids line. I'm like, if only they would go a lot more. I don't really know the way they're doing Batman with multiple Batmans already in the very beginning of the line. It really does scare me because there are a lot of, like, they can do multiple Superman with multiple color schemes, multiple lanterns, which they don't need to. They can do multiple color schemes on Lantern, but they can always change the face to Kyle Rayner, to Guy Gardner, to alien species. It will still fit in this one, you know. But yeah, so I'm really happy with this one. Again, for this one, the value, I would say 15, easy 15, way beyond 12. The price is just perfect, just to let you guys know. Now, which collections would this fit in? I brought in a McFarlane Superpowers figure to show you that is definitely much smaller. Just to let you know. But if you do have, or if you collected your DC Universe Classics, oh, he's slightly smaller. But I still think, look, he's just a little bit. I still think he can stand toe to toe with it. Look at that. There you go. This is much better. Right? The body itself, as you can see, the bottom of the feet, all the way to the shoulder, all the way to the neck, it fits. It's just the head on this one, on the DC Universe Classics, is smaller. Proportion-wise, when you combine the scale of the head to the body, this is more of a super heroic proportions. Kind of like they're following how comic book illustrators would say, you want a superhero proportions, make this head smaller in proportion to the body, you know, give the body a bigger look. Look at how my old DC Universe Classics, it's old, and it's getting to the point where I think the plastic is breaking down. So, like, see, if you look here, you can see some sort of oil substance starting to eke out from the plastic. Anyway, here is another comparison of the Superman one from, again, DC Universe Classics. There you go. See, it's like maybe a quarter of an inch, not even, maybe an eighth of an inch difference between the two, and it's only mainly resting on the face, the head sculpt. As you can see, the head sculpt comparing the two, you see that? The Mattel is definitely slightly bigger. That's all it is, honestly. Like, the body proportions, even the DC Universe Classics even has a wider shoulder compared to the Mattel kids line. You see that? Mattel kids line has, well, the same size feet, but kind of larger in overall scale. The musculature on the DC Universe Classics has a lot more pronounced muscles. Well, this is more subtle on the thighs. And this one, I can't remember the term that they use for this type, this part of the muscle group, but it's more pronounced on the DC Universe Classics. As a consequence, because this is wider, the DC Universe Classics can't really do this kind of bend. See how the angle on this one is much smaller than this one. Yeah, so I really do prefer how this looks. I even would prefer that maybe if you can bring down the arms just a little bit closer, but that's being hampered by this sculpt over here. And man, it's like the ankle, if you can just point down, that'll be perfect already. This toy line is so perfect because the price is perfect. Accessories are kind of like toyish, but that's perfect because it's just an option for me. The paint job is perfect for me. I mean, maybe lighter shade of blue for Superman's fine. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one, and I don't really know how far they're gonna go, and I hope they will. So really look at that range in the head. And everything. So that's it for my review of Mattel's DC Premier 6.5 Kids Collection. Again, each figure is going for $12.99. You can pretty much get it. I think they're starting. Wave 1 is at Target right now, very easily to get. Wave 2 will probably follow soon. It's been released in Targets, but it's not regular yet, so it's being picked up by a lot of resellers and everything. But just wait a few weeks and this will come in and everything. Again, value of 15, highly recommend. And that's it for my review. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next review. Bye.